What's up everyone, Vic here, welcome back to the channel, and I have pretty good news for you. I'm continuing a series on my channel which I just came up with a couple minutes ago, and it's good because it's in connection with my work, so I guess it's a little bit of an insight how airports and how low-cost companies work. So my new series, I'm trying to give a name to it. It's possibly gonna be Wizzair RealOps series, let's say episode 1, which is some kind of an insight what happens in a turnaround phase of a low-cost carrier, just like Wizzair or Ryanair, EasyJet. I picked Wizzair because I'm working with this company, so I'm working with, not for, not now at least. I'm working with this company at my work, so I thought why not to give you some kind of an insight what does happening in a turnaround phase of a low-cost carrier just like Wizzair. So I picked a flight which is now started boarding, so I need to speed things up to guide you through the whole process of a turnaround phase of the aircraft. So really quickly, the flight is W6-2273 to Eindhoven, which is operated by an A321neo actually, but sadly we don't have that model for in P3D, so I'm flying the normal A321 with 230 passenger capacity. The Neo has 239 with one more row fitted in the aircraft. So yeah, and I will try to speak through the whole process of the check-in and the boarding and everything else. So I hope you will like the series, and let's kick this off. So to begin with, the aircraft arrives from another airport, which is possibly, I guess, this flight is maybe coming from Rome or something. So some kind of a European flight. The flight arrives, rampage, and the marshaller guides it into the parking place, which is Romeo 275 for us today for this flight, which is the very infamous low-cost terminal here at Budapest. And yeah, this is not too updated. It's a bit larger now, and it's extended like this, so it's not like this anymore. But hopefully we'll get the update from LHSimulations very soon to our beloved Budapest airport. So what is happening inside this building? You can see it here. This is the very infamous terminal for low-cost carriers. Boarding started for this flight at 8 minutes ago, so in my local time it's 14:18, so it started 8 minutes ago at 14:10 p.m. so 2 o'clock 10 minutes p.m. and now the passengers should disembark from the arriving flight, and they are like now going inside this small little cavern, and they are working their ways out all the way to the arrivals and pick up their luggage and so on and so on. So they are walking out from all the way from this place. I will not show you the whole process, but back to our aircraft here. We are basically, my colleagues now on this flight, they are boarding the passengers here through gate A15, which is, let me try to show you, which is just like here. I can almost show you. I guess it's like right inside. This is A19. It's spelled wrong because now it's not named anymore like this. This is A19, 18, 17, 16, and 15 because it's extended. So it's, let's look at their aircraft. It's this one, which is, now you can see it's A13, but it's actually not. Let's say this is A15. They are boarding inside, not to outside, because There we have some lines which are stopping the passengers from going out to the aircraft, and yeah, they are basically boarding the passengers, and sooner or later, 1 minute more, so at 14:20 p.m. just now, my clock just hit 14:20 p.m. My dear colleague, the flight supervisor of the flight, closes the check-in, closes the acceptance for the flight, which is the W62273 to Eindhoven, Netherlands, this afternoon on board this A321. So about the passengers, so he or she is telling the ramp agent the final figures of the flight, which includes passenger counts, baggage, and any special service required on the flight. Today, this flight, as I mentioned you before, this is served by an A321neo, but we don't have it in this sim, so I'm flying with the 21. The real flight has 236 passengers on board today, but I'm carrying 220 since it's the maximum of the Aerosoft A321 for be prepared version 4, but actually it is 236. This flight carries lots of bags. It carries almost, let me count for you, it's 65 plus 73, which is more than 100. So 65 plus 73, it's 138 bags total. The loaders are now loading them in for the aircraft, while the captain or the first officer is doing the walk around in the aircraft. And my colleagues are still boarding the new passengers for the flight, still just inside that small terminal I showed you, while the arriving passengers absolutely leave the aircraft. And while they are doing that, the ground crew, or actually the flight crew, are trying to give life to the aircraft. Of course, it's not in cold and dark state when the aircraft arrives. I'm just this is my, the default setting for my A320. So I am lighting all this up. They usually have these open, maybe they open some windows to get some fresh air into the cockpit, and of course they arrive with the emergency exit light in the arm position, and of course like this, so they don't really arrive with the aircraft completely in cold and dark. So they are preparing the aircraft for the next leg, which is I'm going to do right now. So we are flying to Eindhoven. Let me turn the IRSs to nav, and let's just type in the company route. While we are doing that, maybe all of the passengers disembarked the aircraft. So we have just time to, the ramp agent consults with the flight crew that they cleaned up the aircraft. Maybe they are still cleaning the aircraft up, but let's say just, so how can I say it properly for you? So probably they are just finishing up all the paperwork in the cockpit and something else. By this time, probably the small terminal right here is getting cramped with passengers, with these 230 and 236 passengers, let's say the real counts, and they have to wait until the ramp agent tells my colleague that they can go out to the aircraft and go all the way and go and embark the aircraft. But still, the gate closes for this flight. Let me think. Let me count, because it takes a bit of time. So the gate closes 15 minutes before the actual departure time, which is 3 o'clock. So the gate closes at 3/4 past 2. So it's 14:45. That's when the gate closes, and the last call is on 14:40, or maybe even before that. So all of the passengers can arrive to the aircraft, and all of them can get on the aircraft in time. So let's just say that maybe the rampage agent is really kind and nice, so he or she lets the passengers out to the fresh air, so they can line up here and wait for the rampage agent to open up the door and open up the lines for them, so the passengers can embark the aircraft. But while they are doing that, the pilots here, which I am right now, of this aircraft, preparing the flight for Eindhoven, which is IRS initialization. It's fine, aligning on, and aligned, as you can see. Yeah, it takes 5 more minutes to align for the IRS, but we can do some preparations until, because we have block fuel of, and that's also the ramp agent's task to consult with the my other colleagues who are working on the load sheet for the aircraft. So how many bags, how many, what is the actual weight, the maximum takeoff weight, the landing weight, the trip fuel, the reserve fuel. And now we are loading up 8 tons of fuel into the aircraft that can carry us to all the way to Eindhoven. So I'm gonna do that. We have 8 tons of fuel, 8.0 in the block. We'll count this one so we can get some gross weights and stuff like this, and we will prepare for our departure, because we are departing from runway 31 left this afternoon via I guess it's the Budov, yes it is, it's the Budov 4 Lima departure route. Perfinite. Probably we are gonna use a flap 1. Yep, flap 1. 1 pair up and 1.2, let's say, with the trims, and it should give us some decent. Yeah, it's fine. Flexing 48 degrees, and our V2 speed is 148, which is completely okay for this flight until we are on ground power, and we will turn on the fuel pumps. We are on ground power still, but now we are starting our APU up, so it doesn't take more time, you know. And probably the passengers are soon embarking the aircraft. From here we don't expect any special assistant required passengers on board today. So my GSX finished the boarding, but I can't do anything as properly as I would. But still, so passengers in the real life, and now maybe embarking the aircraft, maybe not. Maybe it all depends on the speed and efficiency of the gate crew and the state of the arriving aircraft. It's hopefully it doesn't. It's all fine, and the plane can leave in the turnaround time, or on time, you know. So let's continue with the preparation. I guess it's all fine. We are starting the APU, which is now available. We will turn on the seatbelt signs. Why not? We will turn on our radios, and this one as well. We will turn our TCAS to 2000, just for now initially. So our initial cruise is 7,000 feet as well. APU is running. I will set the parking brakes so the wheel chokes can move away a bit. Sorry guys if I'm yawning, I was at work as well. And I was doing exactly the same thing with the flight this morning. So yeah. And by the way, there are two kinds of boardings here or actually three, let's say. Yeah, there are actually three kinds of, three types of boardings here at Budapest Airport. It's either through a bus, or either through a jetway, or or in between. That's the low-cost terminal which we are right now, because there's no bus, no jetway. The passenger has to walk on his or on her own to the aircraft. It's to be honest, it's not too much. So from this terminal, in, like, you know, these not question marks, you know what I mean, they have to walk. It's not too much, but it could be way less, but that's a whole another topic. Sorry guys if I'm yawning, I'm a bit tired, but I really wanted to make this video. So APU is running. Probably now probably my colleague, the ramp agent, led the passengers out to the aircraft, and now probably they are boarding on the aircraft. So my colleagues inside are now finishing up the paperwork. They have to print a certain list for the crew, and they have to print the load sheet for the ramp agent and then to the crew. So they are finishing up all this paperwork and stuff like this, probably. Now our external power is still connected. I will let it connect for a bit more, and yeah, they will have to close the gate at 14:45 p.m. so it's 2:14 p.m. and the plane has to leave in the slot time. You know, I guess I don't have to explain what a slot time is, because experienced flight simmers know about slots and something like this. Just a like an average information. The plane, as it gets into this afternoon flights, or the aircraft itself, it gains it gathers up lots of slot time. So we will probably since we are in the sim and we have no slot times, probably I'm gonna depart on time at 3 p.m. with the airplane, but I will try my best to keep up with the real ones. So I will constantly look in Flight Radar, and I will constantly look on my work page, where I can see what is the state of the boarding, you know. So we are done with the programming, so all we are doing is now waiting for the actual stuff to finish, and we don't have that much left to do here. So I am going to check on where the real world flight state is, sorry, and I will talk to you again. So my colleagues are doing a really great job, because the real world flight is actually still just on boarding, not even on last call, which is 20 minutes before the actual departure time on paper, you know, but not always. But like, I would never do this to put last call only 20 minutes before the actual departure time, because then the passenger has only 5 minutes to get down to the boarding gate. So I would say, like, I mostly put my flights on last call. It all depends on the flight, you know, because every city has its own like you know, small like shenanigans. So on a let's say on a flight to I won't say any cities, and I won't say any countries, because that would be, like, I would say, too much information to uncover. So it all depends on the city, and all depends on the flight when the agent, and it depends on the supervisor as well, when he or she puts the flight on last call. So yeah, but now in the real thing is not even on last call, so my colleagues are doing a really great job. Props to them. If they see this video, they know that I really appreciate their work, and they are doing their job absolutely right and absolutely professional. So yeah, I'm still waiting, and so I checked the slot time for the aircraft. It's really close to its 13:16 UTC, so it's 16 minutes past 3 in local time. So, and that is the time when this plane has to at least get off stand or off block, and at least it has to taxi to the runway, or if I would say properly, that's the target off block time, which it has to leave the block, which is 3 p.m. and it has to be in the air by 16 minutes past 3, because it would then miss the slot time. It has to wait for a new slot time, which is not fun, because these slot times, when a flight loses its slot time, it sucks, you know, it sucks. This causing lots of delays and lots of headaches for the agents and for the supervisors to manage. So it is really important that we do our job properly, and really try to cooperate with our other colleagues out on the ramp and out at the check-in and everywhere. So it's a really large system that has to work really fluently together. And you know, sometimes passengers are the most backlashing thing, you know. They are holding us back because their baggage is not okay. I would say not fine with the rules and policies of the low-cost carriers. So sometimes the passengers, sometimes the gate staff, sometimes the gate staff, no, I would say it's more or less it depends on the situation of the arriving aircraft and the crew. Excuse me, guys. So it most depends on the crew when the arrival staff, if they request cleaning of the aircraft, if they have to clean the aircraft for themselves, if they are changing stuff on changing the crew on the aircraft. It all it depends on a lot of things, to be honest. But let me just double check on the flight. Is it even on last call? Because we have 7 more minutes for gate closure. Let me see. To Eindhoven, yes, it is on last call right now. So since it's on last call, I'm gonna close my cargo doors, because most likely on last call they are finished up loading up these 138 bags in the plane. But we will leave the front door open for a couple more minutes, because we are still waiting for some passengers to board the aircraft. So while we are waiting, this is only, I would like to say, this is only for the departure stuff on my behalf, because I know only this, because I'm working in this place. I don't know what procedures are what kind of procedures the Eindhoven staff is using or utilizing. So I from the pushback, I will just do a normal flight commentary, you know, just flying to Eindhoven and landing there. And probably I'm not gonna fly back, because this flight which departs to Eindhoven, this flight which comes back with the 2274 flight number, this is going to be the evening Milan flight, Wizzair 2335 flight down to Milan. And yeah, let me see if so they have 5 more minutes to gate closure because it's 14:40 now. And just let me double check it. They're probably not gonna close the gate before, because that's not acceptable. It's still on last call, but most likely, since it's on last call right now, they are progressing nicely with the boarding. The slot time doesn't change. The target off block time changed a bit. We have 9 more minutes to get off the stand. So probably I'm gonna wait until this time arrives, and I will cut back when it's time to push back and when it's time to push back from the stand and take off before our slot time ends. So it's 14:45 p.m. Last remaining passenger is running up here to the aircraft like crazy. He or she is running and like up the stairs, inside. Takes a few photos of this beautiful aircraft. Actually, it's a really special livery because it's the 100th aircraft for Wizzair. So he or she walks in, finds his place, and sits down somewhere here over the wing, just like this. Everyone is on board, so so we can close up all the doors because all of our passengers arrived to the aircraft. We will close it, and now our ramp agent tells the ground crew that they can remove the stairs from the aircraft, and says the correct number of passengers and the correct flight time for the handling control here at the airport, which is they are registering it into their system. So apparently today we are flying in my sim. It's 220 passengers on board, nothing special. Everybody is fine. No wheelchair passengers on board, no special assistant required passengers on board of the aircraft. And now my colleagues inside the boarding gate are closing up the flight. So they are, if there is any no-show passenger with no bags, they just remove them from the flight. That's the procedure. I guess you seen some no-show passengers before. No-show passengers are those types of passengers actually who are had some reservations on the flight for some, and even checked in on the flight, but for some reasons it's gonna be on decision, like time problems. I would say, let's say, like some kind of a family issues. It can be anyone. A no-show passenger becomes a no-show passenger when he or she has a reservation but not shows up at the boarding gate at all, and not even in the check-in as well. A no-show passenger is only a passenger without drop-off luggage, because if a passenger drops off a luggage, probably he or she is on the flight, and we have to look for him, look for the passenger. But luckily in the sim we have 220 passengers on board. But let me ask my beloved colleague, if she will look on this video, probably she's gonna cringe, but I don't know. Let me ask her. I just asked her what is the correct passenger count on the real flight, but until she is doing that for me, I will request the pushback for us, and we will push nose to right on the aircraft. We will close up our doors. Oh no, need this and like this. And same thing on this way. You can probably hear my messenger is going crazy. And yeah, total passenger count is, yeah, the boarding is still going actually on this flight. So yeah, but not too many passengers are missing, so they are trying to finish this up. But I will wait a bit for the target of block time. I just asked for the pushback to get on this aircraft because, you know, it all depends on it depends on everything. Maybe there were some issues with the boarding and the ramp agent didn't let the passengers out too early as I finished up the boarding here. But I will wait for the target of block time for us, which is 3 o'clock past 9 minutes. So it's it's 15.9 p.m. So I'm gonna wait for the target of block time with the pushback, and while we are doing that, I just cut you there so you don't even have to wait a second. So the gate has been closed. I can see it in the small little schedule in my on my phone, which is provided my work. So the gate is closed, no more passengers are coming, no more passengers are boarding the aircraft because the gate is closed. I'm still waiting for the target of block time, which is happening 12 minutes, which is gonna happen in 12 minutes. So I'm gonna wait for it, and probably we can depart within our slot time. And also I forgot to mention for you, I'm still flying on IBAO. The call sign for today is Viz 8 Victor Sierra, and we are cruising at flight level 380. Our estimated flight time is gonna be 1 hour and 45 minutes of flight time. Hopefully we will arrive in Eindhoven in time, so we can theoretically get back to Budapest on time, so the Milan gate stuff doesn't really have to work overtime, and they can go home and they can finally rest after a long day of working on these aircrafts. So yeah, and also I have to mention that our departure runway changed as well due to the latest METAR information I received from Budapest. The wind is blowing from 180 degrees and 10 knots. And yeah, I know GSX, so you want me to release the parking brakes, but no, I'm still waiting 10 more minutes for the target of block time. And yeah, so the departure runway is going to be runway 13 left, and we will depart from holding point Kilo all the way, and our takeoff figure changed. Our V2 speeds changed all the way to 154 knots, so it's a bit more we are gonna need a bit more of a runway to take off with the aircraft. And yeah, yes, I'm still waiting for the target of block time. And until I'm waiting, let's just maybe talk about the channel's future. I really wanna continue the full flight commentaries, and yeah, I really want to continue it, and I would really love to fly the Lot 33, which is the Budapest New York. The Lot 31 is not available for me because I don't have the Chicago scenery from FS Dream Team, not even the version 2, and I don't have enough money now to invest in it, so that's probably a no-no. But maybe I will do the Budapest-Shanghai flight, which is recently opened, and it's getting really popular. One of my colleagues always gets it, and let's just say it's a challenge for her. She is working here on the airport for more than 30 years, but that airline, and and the ambassador of the airline really pisses her off. Really pisses her off. So if she is gonna watch this video, you know I'm with you and we are on your side, as always. But still, waiting for the target of block time of the aircraft. So yeah, but our APU is running, we are burning some efficient fuel, and yeah, it's not too much now. It's 8 more minutes only, but probably we're gonna push back soon and we'll start the flight towards Eindhoven. So be right back after a shortcut. Finally, I checked on the flight. The transponder is alive of it. So we are going to do this and do this, and also on IVAO the transponder of ours is alive. I'll just stow these back. It is 2000 and we are ready to start our engines. We are doing a short push now. I think GSX wants us to do, yeah, it's the short one. The bleed is alive, so we are going to ignition start engine number 2. We're waiting for it to spool up so we can get our hydraulic systems alive. And let's just look. If you look at the aileron here, you will see it go up in the normal position. Once I guess it's probably one of my previous colleagues could tell me which is the first one, because I don't remember if it's the yellow or the green hydraulic system that comes online for the first time upon engine start. I guess it's the green or the yellow, maybe the yellow. So we'll just wait. And yep, we have hydraulic power. The rudder goes into the standard position. We are in the parking slot, so we have to set our parking brakes and start number 1. The ramp agent, usually, which is this guy right here, usually walks out with the aircraft. Now he's disconnecting the tow truck from us, and
unlocking gear.
Yep, he's unlocking our gear right now. We are still waiting for our engine number 1 to start. Once the Gen 1 fault signal goes away, that means we have all 2 engines up and running and stabilized, so we are waiting for only this. And we have to rush it a bit because we have 3 minutes and we will miss our slot time. But hopefully it will not happen.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
And yeah. Let's see. Okay, generators are all fine. So we can do this. We can turn off the APU bleed. And the APU as well. We are going to do a check like this, full down neutral. We're gonna set the trim. I will do it manually here. 1.2 full left, then full right, neutral, and the rudders full left, full right. I will do also the speed brakes as well. It doesn't go up on A321, interesting. It's like this and this, and set flaps to 1 plus F, and we are all done and all ready to taxi. The taxi lights on and the runway turn-offs. Release the parking brakes and do this. And let's go. Let's fly to Eindhoven. On the speed brakes. TO config. The cabin check will go away eventually. Let's just check one more. Just like this. And now we are taxiing towards runway 13 left, as this is our departure runway. Couldn't have done it any better now, because the flight is now taxiing out, and we are exactly at the same position here in the sim where the real flight is. It's same. It's going to holding point kilo. Probably the real flight departs just as me, because it's lining up on the runway. So I'm gonna turn off the flight radar and concentrate on my flight. Let's just turn on the takeoff lights, the strobes as well. And yeah, the clock. And yeah, we are not going to listen for that. I'm gonna skip it. So clock is ready, everyone ready, so a little pressure on the nose, a little thrust, and actually the flight time, I told you 1 hour 45 minutes, it's correct. It's stable. Manflex SRS 53 runway auto thrust blue power set. We'll keep the nose down until 100 knots to prevent the nose wheel to lift up in the air. 100 knots, releasing the pressure. I'm just trying to keep it on the center line. Some rudder movements, and nearly V1. And that's V1, and rotate a quickie because the runway is nearly ending. It is a positive climb, and you're immediately turning to the left, because this is the new procedure out of Budapest. And a bit more back to the right. A little bit more to the left. It's a bit windy. Nothing too extraordinary. And we are off to Eindhoven, dear viewers and ladies and gents. On the Bada 4 Bravo departure route. Climb thrust. No clouds this day, but I checked the METAR reports for Eindhoven. Shit weather is waiting for us in the Netherlands, so it's going to be a challenge to land there. Anyways, some minor minor feedbacks on the Aerosoft A321. It flies a bit more nicer than the V3 version, which I quite like. Unfortunately, yes, as I mentioned in my first prepared version 4 video, I switched out my video card, but unfortunately my CPU is not good enough for the FS Labs. For me, so I stick with the Aerosoft. Eventually, if I ever switch a processor, I will probably fly the FS Labs. We will reset the altitude to our cruising level, which is flight level 380 this day. Hopefully I got this right as well. We will soon retract our flaps, because I don't want to get an overspeed warning. So just a bit back more and flaps up. I will also engage the auto thrust. Excuse me. Open climb. I forgot to turn on these. It's fine. There is Budapest in the background. Yep, there it is. And yep, we are keeping the plane is keeping the speed at 150. I'm turning on the weather radar just in case and get a bit of gain. turn off our taxis, turn-offs. We'll keep the landing lights on for 10,000 feet, and then we'll switch off. We have passed 7,000 feet, so we are doing a direct to, since we don't have ATC for us, we are direct to Motherboard. Interestingly, this plane, when banks, it raises up the speed brakes or the spoilers, let's say. But I guess it's not so realistic, because I guess the real aircraft doesn't do that at all. Maybe it's because of the harsh bank angle it takes. If someone could tell me in the comments down below how to fix that, or how to change the rate of bank on the Airbus, I would gladly appreciate that. But yeah, passing 10,000 feet, which is our transition altitude, we are going standard pressure, and we are switching off the landing lights as well. The aircraft put the nose down for a second because it is gaining speed to our cruising. To our climb speeds. So it is now starting to climb a bit more again, more of a higher rate. I will turn off the seatbelt sign because we don't need them anymore. So this was departure, ladies and gentlemen, as I would say as real as it gets to the normal departure, because yep, so that's cabin crew stuff for Aerosoft. So I guess this was the this is how real I can get, or how much I can tell you. This is the most information I can tell you, which is in the normal like the normal brackets or normal borders of the work that I do, because you know, I know about more information about the flight and stuff, but I couldn't tell you because that's not legal, and this is what the this is the what okay, now coffee again. Okay, and now not now, madam, we are still climbing. So directed to Mike Mavor. So yeah, and we will just continue the flight towards Eindhoven, where really shit weather awaits us. I hope you will like the video, and I hope you will like the series, because probably it's gonna be a 2-episode series, because maybe I will do another one which is focused on the arrival of a low-cost airline, so probably that is gonna be the next, and we are gonna stick with Wizzair, because why the heck not? So yes, until we arrive to Eindhoven, enjoy the cinematic views. So, descending down to Eindhoven, ladies and gentlemen. The airport is on our right. The weather is a bit... not a bit... shit. Here in the Netherlands. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I failed. I had to sleep because I was too tired. So, yeah. Now we are doing a weird approach. We are gonna overfly runway 03 threshold, and we are going a right arc down to runway 21 to land on Eindhoven. But yeah, it's gonna be a straight landing, nothing interesting in it, unless the, well, like, nevertheless the, you know, the visuals are not the greatest during the approach, so it should be fine anyways. We are going down now. Wait. Through thick clouds. Yeah, they are really thick. I have engine anti-ice on, so yeah, it should be fine. We are below 10,000 right now, so we are gonna turn on the lights for us, and yeah, it's gonna be just gonna be a straight landing in Eindhoven. I just wanted to tell you that we are really close to it now, and we are landing soon. There you can see, this is Eindhoven Airport below us. Just right here. We are going to make an arc here, and we are going to land here, and unfortunately we have to do a backtrack, or not a backtrack, we have to taxi back to the terminal, so yeah, in any second we are now starting flying the arc, the right arc, down to the runway, and probably I'm gonna activate the approach phase to slow down the aircraft. You know what, let's just do it right now. Confirm approach phase, because we have to start really soon. Some final shots here. So yeah, we are really soon we are starting the right turn down towards runway 21, the final approach for runway 21. It is not too windy now, it's gusty a little bit, but it's still fine. We are still at 7,000 feet. It's a bit gusty now, but it will get better once we are descending down there, so it should be fine. No problems. Good. Yeah, so slowly starting to turn. I had to slow down the aircraft because you know, it's a sharp turn down to the runway. And yeah, really soon we are landing. It's just straightforward, nothing special, so let's just cut to the chase. So we are on the base flag. We have to set our 007 QNH for the airport, or for the barometric pressure. You know, we are gonna, let me see, I will wait a bit more with the flaps too, because still they are a bit further away. But yep, we are nearly there. The real flight actually landed now, a couple of minutes ago, since it was doing not this approach, and it was not flying on this route which I was flying on. So, but it's all down because we departed at the very same. I departed at the very same time with the aircraft, but you know, ATC probably gave the real one some shortcuts. I didn't get any, so it's all fine. You can't replicate anything. As real, I tried to do it as real as I could get it. So. Doing auto brakes medium, gonna land with flap full. The airport is on our right hand side. Now the aircraft is trying to turn into the final approach. A bit gusty, but to be honest, it's all fine. Just on the localizer. And yeah, there is it. Extending flap 2. Turning on the landing lights, turning off the engine anti-ice. And let's go down. Flap 3. Localizer captured. And so the glide slope. So
2,500.
Checked. Now we are turning on to the final approach. Using NL2000 Eindhoven, if you ask. I will probably write it down in the description below. Yes, but it is the only compatible scenery with version 4 I found. But it's decent, it's not a big airport, so what do you expect from it? It's not too big, so it's all fine. Yeah, flaps 3 are out. It's all fine, all a stable approach, so all we have to do is just arm the speed brakes. And all we have to do is land. And extending flaps down to full. Flaps are full. And I'm gonna do the things. It's possibly a great thumbnail picture, to be honest. Or maybe even better if I go this way. Yeah. All fine by me. Let's just try to land the aircraft. A bit windy, a bit gusty, but nothing too heavy. I'm not an Airbus expert, so it's gonna be a bit challenging. So I'm trying let the I'm letting the autopilot do the hard work for me, and I will
1,000.
check landing checklist, landing gear all down, 3 greens, flaps full, ECAM memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Let's try to do it manually. Oh gosh. Nearly. Autopilot disconnected. My aircraft. I forgot that I recently resetted all my settings to get some fresh stuff, and the gear lowering button is remained on my joystick, so that's why it was a bit
500.
strange, but fine, let's land.
$400. 300. 100 above. 200 minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. Retard. 10. 5.
I would say pretty decent. Spoilers. Reverse green. Decent. Good. So then let me see, where do I need to go? Yes, all the way to the right. Since that's the military part if I go left. My flight time was 2 hours and 3 minutes. With the departure as well, so it's all fine by me. So all we have to do is park and finish up the video. So did the taxi back. Our stand today CR6 here at the Eindhoven airport. The gun and stuff is waiting for us there. And it's all fine. APU is running. So it's all set. Stand Sierra 6, which is right here. How do you park the aircraft here? Alright, let me see first, please. Awful parking, I would say, that's why I cut it out completely. APU is available, so we can shut off our engines. So yeah, it was awful. So anyways, it's all fine. We are here, we arrived. That wasn't very good parking, yes, exactly, thank you GSX. So I hope you liked the first part of the video, the departure part of how Wizzair RealOps works. And I will hope to see you in the next one, but until then, see you guys next time. Bye bye.